Hey, welcome everyone to the Dusty Wheel. We're here to talk about Season 1 episodes of the Wheel of Time TV show. Now, we've had a lot of chatter over the last couple of months about episode titles. We've received 5 of those of the first 6 episodes. And because of that, we've kind of speculated about what that might mean. How far will we get in the Eye of the World? Will we go all the way to the Great Hunt in that first season? And I've heard a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people think that 6 episodes will not be the end for Season 1. They think it'll go up to 10. Now, I'm kind of hanging somewhere in between there. I think we're going to get about 8 episodes. Now, let me tell you how I break that down. Episode 1 is currently titled Leave Taking. Now, it seems like a direct chapter title from, I think it's Chapter 9 or Chapter 10 in the Eye of the World, Leave Taking. It's pretty obvious what that's going to be. Now, the wind might hit Tar Valon. It might... show them the wind might show us a lot of conflict in the world, but it's definitely going to end up in the 2 rivers. Now, leave taking will take us out of the village with our favorite characters, and then the question is what happens next. Now, it seems pretty obvious with the title of the second episode being Shadows Waiting. Now, that is actually a chapter title from the Eye of the World. I believe that's somewhere around chapter 19, something like that, and it actually is when they are in Shadar Logoth. Now, that's great news. There was a lot of question back in the day. Once we all heard this, what would they cut? And a lot of people kind of wondered, I've wondered, would they cut that portion? Now, we don't know exactly what they'll do in Shadar Logoth, but the assumption is if they're taking us there, we're going to get the whole story. So that makes me feel good since I do like the Pat and Fane More Death merge. I'm excited about that. Now, episode 3 is currently titled A Place of Safety. There's not a direct title, A Place of Safety, in the Eye of the World, but there's one that's called Shelter from the Storm. So that seems pretty much on the nose. That has a lot to do with the groups that are split up and making their way to Camelin and, who they encounter on that way. So we're definitely going to sound like we're going to get Elias, the Tinkers, and others, I'm sure, but I don't think we're going to get every single stop. That's just not realistic because we need to get to Camelin. Now, if you were tracking these chapters as we've gone, we're covering about 9 chapters or so each time we've jumped here, so 9 or 10. So that kind of pairs us almost directly with the chapters about Camelin. So the chapter title for episode 4 of the TV series is going to be The Dragon Reborn. To me, that's just an obvious pairing. Maybe everyone else has already made this assumption. It's Logain, right? At the end of the day, Logain's there. Rand wants to see him. And then we get everything that happens in Camelin. So I think it seems clear that episode 4, we're going to get to Camelin and we're going to meet Logain. Now, what happens after that? We don't know the title of episode 5. But it seems obvious here that to get to episode 6, which is the Flame of Tar Valon, we need to get to Faldara and the Blight and the Eye. So episode 5 seems clearly to be, moving from Camelin to Faldara via the ways. It just depends on how much time they're going to give us there. How much time they can dedicate to that. Is that going to be a quick thing and we're going to be in Faldara, and in the end of episode 5, is it going to be the Eye, the Blight and the Eye? Or is that going to be a longer term trip? Are they going to want to, dwell there for a bit and kind of make that really creepy and dark for that most of that episode? We'll have to see. But the Flame of Tar Valon is the episode title of episode 6 for season 1. So the Flame of Tar Valon is chapter 1. It's the name of chapter 1 in The Great Hunt. That's when the Amarillan seed arrives in Faldara. So the question becomes how you perceive what that means. I think that ties it into the end of that episode, just like leave taking is going to be, in my mind, at the end of that episode in episode 1. Same way I kind of perceive the Flame of Tar Valon. I believe she'll arrive at the end of that. So what we get at the beginning, I think, is going to be more along the lines of the Eye, the Blight, the War, and the aftermath there. So the Flame of Tar Valon, all the events at the beginning of the Great Hunt would happen, in my opinion, in the next couple of episodes. Now, this would be a natural stopping point. We could stop there. That would be season 1. That is kind of the natural stopping point pretty much for the books. However, considering all the chatter about having more episodes than 6 episodes, I think we have to go down that road. How far and how deep do we go into the Great Hunt? I believe we'll at least go 2 episodes deep. I think episode 7 will center around those events that we're familiar with that happen in Faldara. And, it'll be turning that conflict from, they've been headed there with the Eye and the Blight and such, and now they're turning towards new antagonists out there. We have more Forsaken that are coming into the story. We have the Dark Friends Social. We have the escape from Faldara. We have the assassination attempt. We have lots of stuff that's happening there, and I think that that's going to create enough conflict that'll get us through 1, maybe 2 episodes. I can see that the second episode there, or I guess into the Great Hunt, or the 8th episode, if you will, of the season, would be The Hunt Begins. It's around chapter 10 of the Great Hunt. Now, there's a couple chapters after that. I think 3 chapters later, we get the Portal Stones and Rand and Lanfear. So that could be a natural ending point. Instead of The Hunt Begins where they're all leaving, we actually get the disappearance for Rand's storyline, and we actually get maybe we even get the arrival at the White Tower. Maybe we get some testing done. Maybe that'll be the ending point for them there. So the question is how deep we go. But I think with an 8-episode arc, we can create a lot of they can create a lot of tension there and end in a kind of a natural spot, which is just a lot of unknowns for all of our main characters about what's going to happen next. A lot of new experiences, and not having to try to rush us to the end at Toman Head. Now, if this really is a 10-episode season, then we have to start asking ourselves, how quickly are they going to try to get through the Great Hunt? If the Flame of Tar Valon, episode 6, is actually something where she arrives at the beginning of that episode, and we get a lot of the Faldara stuff happening there in that 6th episode, and we get out of Faldara in episode 7, and we have 3 additional episodes, where do we go? It feels like a lot to put in to get us to the end. I just don't think it's going to happen. I would rather see 8-episode first season that gets us to, in the first 10 chapters of The Great Hunt than a 10-episode 2-book attempt. I think that's just too much. But good thing is I'm not making these decisions. I just get to speculate about them. So I'd love to know, what do you think is going to happen? Tell me in the comments. How do you think it's going to break out? After the Flame of Tar Valon, how many more episodes do you think we're going to get? Where would the natural ending point be for you for that first season? I'd love to hear all about it, and maybe we'll do a live stream that talks about this very topic. But that's not the live stream I want to remind you about. That's Wednesday. This Wednesday, we're all going to do a live adaptation of The Eye of the World, scene by scene. It's going to be nothing like this, right? This is pretty generic. We're going to tackle it from the prologue, the Quarry Road, as they get to Edmund's Field, all the different scenes that we have there, and we're going to play Keep It or Kill It. And I can't wait. There's not going to be a lot of agreements. I think one of my panelists said it's going to be a SmackDown, and I absolutely agree with her. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a fun SmackDown, if you will. But please be there on Wednesday, and we'll be watching your comments on YouTube, and you can participate. We'd love to hear, as we're talking, what you're thinking about that live adaptation. If you had the power to do this, to do what Rafe Judkins and his team are doing, if you could make the cuts, what would you be willing to sacrifice to make the story, the right story? And I know some of you are thinking, I wouldn't cut anything. I get it. But we're going to play Keep It or Kill It. Come play with us this Wednesday. We'll see you then.